Hello, and thank you for joining us for this discussion on eating well on a budget. This is the first webisode in a four-part series that's being produced by Mission Healthy Living on living healthy on a budget. I'd like to introduce our guests. We have Jen Brown, who is the director of the Pottstown Family Center, and Sue Uphold, who is a registered dietitian and a licensed nutritionist, and the owner of 4Life Nutrition. Welcome.
Thank you.
Sue, when you hear people say you should eat foods that are good for you, you may make the assumption that people know what these foods are, what are healthy for you, what's not healthy for you, but it's not always as simple as saying just eat your fruits and vegetables. There are meats that are better for you, dairy that's not good for you. So if somebody wants to start to eat healthy, but they're on a budget, how can they start to understand what even eating healthy means?
There's some very basic things about the American diet that we do kind of repeatedly wrong. We tend to really like our meats and starches. So, you know, spaghetti and meatballs, burgers and fries. And we forget about some of those other food groups that add texture, nutrition, just some variety to what we're eating. And so really that's all it's about, is getting a little more balance and variety in what you're eating. So a couple simple tips that anyone can do. When you're going to have lunch or dinner, always try to have a vegetable serving. Second thing that you can do, if you're a person who likes cakes, cookies, candies for snacks or desserts, maybe try instead to exchange that for a piece of fruit. And the third thing that you can do to eat a little healthier is, instead of your white bread, white pasta, white rice, just exchange that for whole grain bread, whole grain pasta, and brown rice. So a couple simple things. If you're ready to advance beyond that, you may want to go to the USDA website. That is www.myplate.gov. It's a great place to get good tips and recipes, as well as there's some interactive tools. The kids can play a game while they're learning about nutrition, and anybody can type in your basic info, height, weight, age, that type of thing, and it'll tell you how many servings you should have from each of the food groups. So some real basic stuff anybody can do.
But it's a great place to start. And I think it's funny because this area, we're like meat and potato. You know, it's a big hunting area. So, I mean, meat is like a part of the diet. But even when you go and say have some vegetables, I think it's important to note, don't load it up with the cheese sauce. You know, try to avoid the butter on them. And I think that that's also important too, because that's where a lot of your extra calories are as well. And same with salads. A lot of times people, oh, I'll have a salad, and then they put half a bottle of blue cheese dressing on it. So those are really good tips.
I agree with you. But, you know, as a dietitian, I'm happy if I can just get them to start thinking about eating those veggies, and then we'll refine it from there.
Then we'll refine it. I have them 3 steps forward, so that's awesome. But there's probably some foods that are not so healthy that people don't even realize that are deceiving, that they should even avoid. They might think they're doing something good for themselves, but they're not.
Yeah, exactly. A trend I'm seeing right now are healthy beverages that we think are so good for us. I think everybody gets it that sodas, sweet teas, juice drinks really just are a lot of sugar and water. So people are knowing that's not necessarily something we want to be having. And when they go to replace it, instead of replacing it with water, they're choosing something that's marketed as being healthy. So that's going to be your energy waters, your vitamin waters, sports drinks, fruit juices, fruit smoothies. They sound very healthy when in fact it's just a lot of extra calories. So I tell everybody, you know, save the calories, save the money, drink some water.
Drink some water. It's free. Tap water is free.
That's right.
So you don't even have to get the fancy bottled water. You can just have that. So, okay, those are great tips, Sue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jen, eating healthy sounds like it's going to be expensive. And I think a lot of times you go into the grocery store and you see organic, or you see these vegetables and you're like, oh my goodness, how can I possibly afford this? So you buy the box of macaroni and cheese and, you know, something that you think will fit into your budget. Is that true? Can you eat healthy on a budget?
Absolutely, you definitely can. And you're right, organic is a big trend and a buzzword. And a lot of people think if they can't choose that, then they do need to go to something not as great. But there are a lot of healthy choices that you can choose. There's, like you mentioned, fresh fruits and vegetables. Even if you can't get fresh fruits or vegetables, frozen vegetables and fruits are also the next best thing. And if you need to choose canned fruits or vegetables, much better than a French fry. So
anything's better than a French fry.
Yes. So you definitely can choose a lot of healthy things that are reasonable.
And I was going to say, with the frozen foods even, you can look for ones that are on sale because they will at least last in your freezer for a while.
Yes.
So,
yes.
What are some ways family can eat nutritionally on a budget? Do you have some tips that you can offer people?
I would say my first plan of attack would be to plan ahead.
Okay.
Having a grocery list before you go to the grocery store. On a Sunday afternoon, looking at the flyers and the sales ads for the grocery stores. If you do have transportation, trying to go to as many different grocery stores depending on the certain sales that they may have. There are discount grocery stores in our area that are very reasonable. A lot of them carry generic brands,
right,
as do many of the name brand grocery stores do too. And generic is very similar. There's very little in difference in terms of taste and things like that. Right. So that's a great choice for families. There's other staple items that you can buy. Oats. They don't have to be a name brand oatmeal or anything like that. Right. Apples, bananas, eggs, beans are packed full of all kinds of nutrients, and they are okay even as a canned bean. It's probably easier to prepare for a busy family as a canned bean. Right. So there are a lot of different ways in going about to shop on a budget.
Good. And I think we should caution people too, couponing is great, but be careful that you're not getting the coupons that are for the things that are bad for you. So I've noticed at the grocery store that I go to with the card that they give you for rewards, you can get $1 off produce, or you can get $1 off your meat purchases. So I think that there's ways to look for healthy coupons. So what are some coupons or some things that people might think that are the best buy for them, but they should look to tend to avoid? Is it a lot of processed type foods, or?
I would say a lot of the coupons that are available are for processed items. Right. A lot of snack items, the fruit roll-up type things, the fruit snacks, which are, they think that they're eating healthy because what the fruit name is in it, but it's a lot of sugar. There are many things that are typically processed that are available for as the coupons. Okay. So I found that, like, even the dairy products, probably I've noticed there's more and more different dairy product coupons that are out there. So that's a good option for families.
Right, low sodium. They have a lot of low sodium cheeses and extras.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, this is all great information. Hopefully, it will inspire people to know that they can eat healthy, even though they're probably on a budget. So, to view this webisode and all the other webisodes in this series, please log on to www.missionhealthyliving.org.